Good day, everyone. This is Mark Vello, and you're listening to Headline News. The United States blacklisted 7 Chinese supercomputing entities over Chinese military ties. On Thursday, April 8th, the U.S. Department of Commerce added 7 Chinese supercomputing entities associated with the Chinese Communist Party military to the U.S. economic blacklist, citing the need to maintain national security. The U.S. Department of Commerce statement noted that the 7 entities were involved with building supercomputers used by China's military actors, its destabilizing military modernization efforts, and/or weapons of mass destruction programs. The 7 sanctioned entities include Tianjin Fidium Information Technology, the National Supercomputing Center Jinan, the National Supercomputing Center Shenzhen, the National Supercomputing Center Wuxi, the National Supercomputing Center Zhengzhou, Shanghai High Performance Integrated Circuit Design Center, and Sunway Microelectronics. In a statement, U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo wrote, "Supercomputing capabilities are vital for the development of many, perhaps almost all, modern weapons and national security systems, such as nuclear weapons and hypersonic weapons." She added, "The Department of Commerce will use the full extent of its authorities to prevent China from leveraging U.S. technologies to support these destabilizing military modernization efforts." U.S. media outlet The Washington Post quoted U.S. Commerce Department officials as saying that all 7 entities are linked to the CCP's ambition to build the world's first exascale computer, a supercomputer capable of handling 1,000,000 trillion calculations per second. This is a cutting-edge technology area currently being developed and competed for by countries around the world. The report quoted officials as saying that the actual purpose of including companies on the entity list is really about not having U.S. items contribute to China's advancement of its military capabilities. The new rules restricting U.S. exports of products and technology to the entities in question will take effect immediately. However, they will not apply to goods from U.S. suppliers already en route. Chinese Communist Party officials have not yet responded to the new sanctions. In recent years, the U.S. government has condemned the CCP for its military-led technology development and theft, which has sparked a security crisis in the U.S. under former President Donald Trump. The U.S. added dozens of Chinese companies to its economic blacklist, including the country's top smartphone maker Huawei Technologies, top chip maker SMIC, and the largest drone manufacturer, DJI Technology. China's frequent intimidation of Taiwan. U.S. Department of State, rock-solid commitment to Taiwan. Recently, the Chinese Communist Party has been harassing and intimidating Taiwan almost non-stop, with military aircraft operating in Taiwan on a daily basis. On Wednesday, April 7th, the U.S. State Department responded to the increasingly aggressive moves by the CCP, stressing that the U.S. commitment to Taiwan is rock solid. The Taiwan government said on April 7th that tensions are rising in the Taiwan Strait, with the Chinese Communist Party sending 15 military aircraft, including 12 fighter jets, to violate Taiwan's air defense identification zone. On the same day, State Department spokesman Ned Price expressed concern about the CCP's move to disturb Taiwan and stressed that the U.S. will assume its obligations to its allies. Price said, "We have, of course, taken note with great concern the pattern of ongoing PRC efforts and attempts to intimidate in the region, including in the context of Taiwan." Price also cited portions of the Taiwan Relations Act in his remarks, saying that the United States is obligated under the law to provide Taiwan with the means to defend itself against CCP invasion. He said it is long-standing U.S. policy to resist any resort to force or other form of coercion that would jeopardize the security or the social or economic system of the people of Taiwan. We'll continue to work with allies and partners in support of our shared prosperity, our security, and our values in the Indo-Pacific region, and that includes with regard to peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, Price noted. On the U.S. military side, the guided missile destroyer USS John S. McCain conducted a routine transit of the Taiwan Strait on Wednesday, April 7th. The U.S. Navy also issued a statement that day saying, "The ship's transit through the Taiwan Strait demonstrates the U.S. commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific." The United States military will continue to fly, sail, and operate anywhere international law allows. Admiral Philip Davidson, the current U.S. commander for the Indo-Pacific, testified before Congress in March that he believes the Chinese Communist Party could attack Taiwan by force within the next 6 years. The Chinese military said on April 5th that military training by the Chinese Navy's aircraft carrier formations around Taiwan would be normalized. Taiwan Foreign Minister Joseph Wu said on April 7th that if the CCP attacks, Taiwan will fight to the end. Five major U.S. tech giants face scrutiny for suppressing conservative freedom of speech. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita said Wednesday, April 7th, that he will review the five major U.S. technology companies for potential harm to Indiana consumers through deceptive, unfair, or abusive practices that suppress conservative speech. The five companies that will be reviewed are Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, and Twitter. The Attorney General will specifically review programs that restrict consumers' access to specific content, by which he means the act of removing or blocking conservative posts. Rokita said in a statement, "It is potentially harmful and unfair for these companies to manipulate content in ways they do not publicly discuss or that consumers do not fully understand." In addition, Rokita is looking into alleged actions taken by attorney Vanita Gupta to encourage the companies to censor conservative viewpoints. Gupta is Biden's nominee for Associate U.S. Attorney General. U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley said that Gupta's tweets described the Republican National Convention last year as 3 nights of racism, xenophobia, and outrageous lies. Rokita has previously been critical of social media censorship. His own postings were blocked by Twitter. In February, he posted a Valentine's Day card with an image of Trump that read, "You stole my heart, just like the 2020 election." Twitter immediately blocked the post from being retweeted and replied to, adding the hashtag to the post, saying the false information could lead to violence. Also on April 1st, the Texas Senate passed a bill to restrict social media. The bill prohibits social media companies that have 100 million users from blocking, banning, deactivating, or discriminating against any user because of their political views. Myanmar lawmakers. 180,000 collected evidence of human rights violations by the military government will be submitted to the United Nations. Since the coup d'etat, the Myanmar military has continued to crack down on protesters. Lawmakers from the National League for Democracy Party in Myanmar, which was deposed by the military junta, said they have gathered a great deal of evidence of human rights abuses and violations by the junta and were preparing to submit it to the United Nations. Nicholas Kumjian, head of the Independent Investigation Mechanism for Myanmar, issued a statement on March 17th calling on the people of Myanmar to collect and preserve documentary evidence of the crackdown ordered by the military since the February 1st coup in order to issue a case against Myanmar's military leaders. According to AFP, a statement issued by the Myanmar Union Parliamentary Representative Committee said that they included more than 540 extrajudicial executions, 10 deaths of prisoners in custody, torture, illegal detentions, and disproportionate use of force against peaceful protests. The committee also said their lawyers would meet with UN investigators to discuss the atrocities committed by the Myanmar junta. Myanmar security forces have used rubber bullets and real bullets to disperse rallies since the junta's coup, killing at least 581 people and arresting nearly 3,500 others, 2,750 of whom remain unreleased. At least 15 people were killed and many others injured when security forces again fired on protesters demanding a return to democracy in the northwestern town of Kale on April 7th. The UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in Myanmar, Tom Andrews, said via social media that the junta has shut down wireless internet access and is now deploying rocket-propelled grenades, machine guns, and other weapons of war against the people of Myanmar. This madness must stop. Sanctions and an arms embargo must be imposed to cut their access to revenue and weapons now. He also stressed the urgency of concerted international action to support the besieged people of Myanmar and to hold the junta accountable. This concludes today's broadcast. Thank you for your time, and stay tuned for the next headline news.